This is Supersonic Torpedo, and I'm going to be covering the second step towards riches in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to cover my ideas of what he was talking about. I'm going to read some of the paragraphs and commenting on particular paragraphs. I'm going to read the first three paragraphs of the chapter. Faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. The emotions of faith, love, and sex are the most powerful of all the major positive emotions. When the three are blended, they have the effect of coloring the vibration of thought in such a way that it instantly reaches the subconscious mind, where it is changed into its spiritual equivalent, the only form that induces a response from infinite intelligence. Love and faith are psychic, related to the spiritual side of man. Sex is purely biological and related only to the physical. The mixing or blending of these three emotions has the effect of opening a direct line of communication between the finite thinking mind of man and infinite intelligence. So I want to read just this last part of this last paragraph. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind through the principles of autosuggestion. So this is the introduction to faith, and how faith is one of the emotions that is the most powerful. Faith, love, and sex. And that faith is a state of mind, essentially. It's a state of mind where you see the end result as if it is actually done, as if it is actually already completed. You see the picture so clearly in your head of your definite chief aim, your desire, that you start to induce faith inside of you. So he talks about autosuggestion, which is basically repeated instructions to the subconscious mind. Autosuggestion is covered in another chapter, but is a way to increase faith. It is a way to increase the amount of faith that you have. With autosuggestion, you actually start programming your subconscious mind. You actually start changing the way that your subconscious mind works. Rather than going along with the way it is currently programmed, you are changing the programming so that it becomes better programmed to meet your needs, to meet your desires. The way that this happens is simple. You repeat the instruction that you have for your subconscious mind, and you emotionalize it. And when you have emotion with what you are repeating, your subconscious mind will start to realize that it is important to you, that these things are important, that somehow this is an important thing to have. One example, and this is, we're still on faith, but to talk about autosuggestion, is that if I told you to look for green Volkswagen Beetles with silver hubcaps, if I told you about those and how much I liked driving a green Volkswagen Beetle with silver hubcaps, and I emotionalized it, there's a phenomenon you might have seen where in that situation, you will notice green Volkswagen Beetles all over the place that you had never seen before, because your subconscious mind will believe that this is important to you and that this is important somehow, and it will do its best to point the green Volkswagen Beetles out to you. And you might have noticed this in the past before, and how that phenomenon can stick with you for a while. For several weeks, you can be noticing this type of car. In fact, maybe even after this podcast, you'll notice these cars on the road, green Volkswagen Beetles with silver hubcaps. I want to read two more paragraphs here over on the next few pages. When men first come into contact with crime, says a famous criminologist, they abhor it. They abhor it. If they remain in contact with crime for a time, they become accustomed to it and endure it. If they remain in contact with it long enough, they finally embrace it and become influenced by it. The next paragraph says, this is the equivalent of saying that any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed on to the subconscious mind is finally accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind, which proceeds to translate that impulse into its physical equivalent by the most practical procedure available. When you mix it with faith, faith that you will attain it, faith that you are settled that this is what you want, and faith that you can have it, then it translates a lot easier into your subconscious mind. The idea will translate much easier into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind will do what the last part of the last sentence says, by the most practical procedure available. It will look for ways of making your idea become a reality. It will be programmed to now be on your side to get you what you want. So, and it'll do that by the most practical procedure available. No real secret about what it's trying to do. It's just pointing out things that you had already were in your vicinity, but you didn't notice before because they didn't mean anything to you, because you didn't have any plan before. Whereas now, when you have a plan and you place it in your mind with faith, then your subconscious mind will go to work with you, will go to work for you, and find these things that will help you. But there is an interesting phenomenon with that. And the interesting phenomenon is this. What will happen is if you have negative ideas that you have emotionalized, what will happen is those negative ideas will then be implanted into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will translate positive and negative thought impulses into its equivalent, physical equivalent. So if you have the idea that poverty is important, or if you emotionalize poverty to the extent that it gets ingrained into your subconscious mind, if you have faith that you will never get out of poverty, your subconscious mind will take that and will only show you things, that will show you to poverty, because it thinks that this is important to you. It doesn't think, but it's like it's thinking that this is important, so I must point out and highlight things that will bring poverty and blind this person, blind me, blind you to the things that will bring prosperity. So it will translate positive and negative thought impulses. This is one of the reasons why this is an explanation for bad luck, why people have, quote, bad luck. And the reason why they have bad luck is because they have emotionalized bad luck, and their subconscious mind has been programmed, has been switched over to only seeing bad luck bad luck articles, things that will bring disappointment, and will dwell on these things in the subconscious mind trying to be helpful will bring these things to you. And if you have the faith that you will have bad luck and despair and poverty, then you will attract those things because your subconscious mind will find these things and will highlight them to you. So this is the way most people operate. Most people operate and say, I can't have that wealth. I can't have that thing that I desire because of this and that and the other. And your subconscious mind goes to work and proves it to you. However, you can turn it around. You can have your subconscious mind in control by having faith that you can attain what you desire. And with that faith, you can program your subconscious mind. And if you do that, if you program your subconscious mind with faith, that the belief that you do have attained what you want, and if you really picture it clearly in your mind, the type of wealth that you want, then your subconscious mind will just have to will start bringing those things to you. We'll start highlighting articles that you can read. We'll start highlighting people that you can talk to. We'll start highlighting conversational topics. But you have to have the faith. You have to build up as you go along the faith. And that's what we're talking about here in the second step, is faith that you can have it. Faith that you can almost feel having it. And that faith will help to program your subconscious mind. So this isn't all about auto-suggestion. This is about faith, and the faith to believe and to visualize and to see yourself with the thing that you desire, having the thing that you desire, and settling on what you desire. I'm going to read another paragraph here. It says right here, to make this deceit more realistic, conduct yourself just as you would if you were already in possession of the material thing which you are demanding when you call upon your subconscious mind. So this is just another explanation that to have faith, you need to believe that you are already in possession of it. You need to sort of feel those feelings. I did this the other day where I was laying in my bed and I closed my eyes for about 30 seconds and imagined what it would feel like to live in a big house, to, have the amount of wealth that I'm looking for. And how would it feel? And for about 30 seconds, I tried to imagine that. And it was interesting because I could kind of see what it might be like. Even though it wasn't there, I could kind of feel what it could be like. And it's not important that I felt it at that time. What is more important is that it helped program my subconscious mind into truly believing that this is something that was important, that it needed to look out for and bring to me the things that were around me that would help me. I'm going to read another paragraph. A mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. A mind so dominated may, at will, give the subconscious mind instructions which it will accept, and act upon immediately. This is explaining the goal of what we're looking for in faith. The goal is that we have so much faith and so much positive emotions because we believe in what we are about to attain. We can feel it, that you will be able to at will instruct your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will be easily programmed because you'll have the faith to visualize what you're looking for. You'll so believe that you can get it that you'll be blinded to anything else, and your subconscious mind will pick up on that very quickly. And eventually you'll be to the point where your subconscious mind and the faith that you have in what you want will program your subconscious mind so much faster, and it'll become very easy to get your subconscious mind to start looking for these things. But the faith will become stronger in time as you use it. It says it cannot come merely by reading instructions. You have to practice it. Another word that is used in this chapter is self-suggestion. It's all the same concept of programming your subconscious mind. Um, another interesting thing about it, about your subconscious mind, you can repeat a lie or a truth to it, and it will be believed. So you can repeat a lie or a truth, and it will be believed. So you can say, I can't do this. You can say, I can't do this certain thing. And even though you might be able to, and even though you could, your subconscious mind will start believing that you can't, and then it'll start finding things that will prove that you can't do it. And so, but then you can tell a truth, or you can tell a little white lie and say, I already have this thing. This is what I already have. I have this wealth. You can kind of edge it on, push it on, as in, so it believes that this is just who you are. So it's a great um, it's a great thing to remember. This next paragraph, I want to read this next paragraph. From the great storehouse of the ether, the human mind is constantly attracting vibrations which harmonize with that which dominates the human mind. Any thought, idea, plan, or purpose which one holds in one's mind attracts from the vibrations of the ether a host of its relatives, adds these relatives to its own force, and grows until it becomes a dominating, motivating master of the individual in whose mind it has been housed. So this is talking about what would sort of be a snowball. As you believe one thing, you'll start becoming stronger in that belief, because more and more evidence of that belief will start attaching itself to the first belief that you had through faith. And your faith will grow stronger and bigger and more, and this is relatives to its own force, adds these relatives. So it's like the things that will help you will start coming into play. Things that you never realized could help you will become apparent that they could help you. Let me see. In the beginning, you'll have fear. Fear that you cannot do these things. Fear that you won't get what you want, that you won't be able to attain it. Let me read this paragraph here. If you fill your mind with fear, doubt, and unbelief in your ability to connect with and use the forces of infinite intelligence, the law of autosuggestion will take this spirit of unbelief and use it as a pattern by which your subconscious mind will translate it into its physical equivalent. And this is just saying that fear can also implant itself into your subconscious mind, and it'll make it start looking for ways of substantiating that fear, of making that fear real, even though it's not, of providing evidence that this fear that you have, this excuse perhaps, is an actual real fear or an actual excuse. So that is something that needs to be turned around. And faith does that. Faith does that because faith can see the end result before it's actually done and can believe in it and can see it clearly. Another paragraph. Like the wind, which carries one ship east and another west, the law of autosuggestion will lift you up or pull you down according to the way you set your sails of thought. So, autosuggestion will feed into your faith. Faith will grow stronger as you keep feeding it autosuggestion uh, ideals of what you want. And faith will grow stronger as it just will gain its own inertia as it sees evidence and proof that this is the way to go, that this is what you really do want, and this is what you do need, and it takes it seriously and finds these things in the world around you. Um, I'm going to read the next paragraph, like the wind. I just read like the wind. There's an example here. There's an example here of Gandhi. And he brings Gandhi up. There's two examples I want to explain. He brings Gandhi up as a person that exhibited faith. And the faith he exhibited that was that India would be without British control. And he believed it so much and he could see it so easily that he was able to influence the people around him, the Indians around him, and everyone else into believing it too. But because he had such a clear idea of faithful idea of what it was going to be like, and he believed it that it would happen, then he was able to convince other people to come along with it, and eventually the entirety of India was of the same mind to force British rule away from India. And India was able to do that. And one man with this faith in the thought and in the idea that he had that it could happen, that it would happen, was able to transmit that idea to everyone else and to other people. And he was able to get India to throw off British rule. Another example that is given in this chapter is Charles Schwab, not the investment Schwab, but another Charles Schwab. And the example given here was how the U.S. Steel Corporation was formed. And it was formed by a lot of little and medium-sized steel interests, and they wanted to merge. But no one wanted to really, no one really believed that it could happen, that no one could really see a clear picture of it actually happening, even though it would be a beneficial thing to everyone involved. Since no one had a clear picture or faith that it could happen or that it would happen, since no one could see it clearly, then no one moved on it. And at this one dinner at Andrew Carnegie's house, I believe, 80 of these owners were there, and Charles Schwab was able to give a presentation in such a way that he was able to transmit the faith that he had in his plan to the 80 people that were there. And so everyone became of one mind and was able to believe in the plan, and everybody agreed on the plan. And the very last piece of the puzzle was when Andrew Carnegie was introduced to the idea, and he was on board. He was on board with the idea, and the example is there because Charles Schwab had the idea in his mind and the faith to actually see it as it would be, as it could be. And with that faith, he was able to convince others. And it was as simple as that. He had abilities and all that, but his faith is what really changed the tide. No one had that kind of faith, had that kind of clear picture, and had a belief that it could indeed happen. It was a simple, uh, it's a simple idea to just believe that you can attain what you're looking for. And these are two examples of how faith in what they wanted and what they needed was able to get free India and create a merger. So this is the end of the podcast. I hope that you can give your comments below. Give your comments below on what you think and what you would like to see in the next ones. I'm going to record the next ones soon here. And have a good day.